Okay, boom. I've decided that I really like this filter because I don't know what it looks like to everyone that's watching this, but to me I look like I have a tan and I don't have much of a tan right now. So I'm just glad that it makes it look like I have a tan. What's going on, people? Kimberly Denise here. And hey, welcome. If you're just jumping on, feel free to drop where you're tuning in from in the comments below. And I think I can't see the comments and stuff. Yes. I used Facebook Live in my group earlier today, but I don't know if that's different. I haven't done a whole lot of them on my wall here. Oh well, if you want to chime into the discussion here or share, I wanted to discuss briefly, I had someone ask me recently, how is it that you stay motivated through life's challenges and through the really, really tough times and situations that you might be going through in life? And I thought it would be a great discussion to talk about because, wow, everybody goes through that, right? Everybody has something that they're dealing with or that they've dealt with or that they're going to be dealing with. I think it was either Bob Proctor or Les Brown that said, we've either just gone through a storm or we're going through a storm or about to go into a storm. So life's full of enormous growth opportunities, right? As we people who have been studying personal development may call them growth opportunities, but they're really situations where life seems to suck. We're going through a difficulty. It might be a health challenge. It might be a relationship issue where you are having problems with maybe your family or the person who you're in a relationship with, or financial issues, or it could be a number of different things. But how do you stay motivated? How do you keep a positive mental frame when you're going through these things? It could be so hard when you look around and everything, it just appears to you in that, right? And it's so similar to an actual storm because you look around and, you know, if you're in a storm, an actual physical storm outside, maybe all you see is the rain, all you see is the wind, all you see is things blowing around and everything's getting messed up. Where right outside, maybe like a mile or two away, it's sunny, it's fine, nothing's going on over there. But when you're in the middle of it, how do you keep the mentality of being positive and seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, right? Hello, Fabrice. Hi, Renetta. How's it going? As you guys jump on here, feel free to share where you're from so I can see where everyone's living or where you're staying or where you're traveling at right now. So welcome. So this discussion is how do you stay motivated through the hardest times in life? So I can say from my experiences, and if you are jumping on here and you're watching this and you want to share or chime in, you know, what's worked for you in the past, what's working for you now, what you've heard worked for someone else and you're trying it out yourself, go ahead and put that in the comments as well. But what really worked for me to start getting out of those tough spaces in life was getting really, really, really clear on my vision, getting super clear on where it was that I wanted to be, what it was that I wanted to achieve and then also why. Like, what is the reason that I wanted to be in this other place, in this other, why did I want to be experiencing this other life, this other reality, this other experience other than what I was currently experiencing? You know, for me, I was at my full-time job. I was still trying to figure entrepreneurship out. I had been in network marketing, I think, for like 6 or 7 years at that point. And at the time I had 3 small children, and they were, I believe at that time, 2, 4, and 6 years old. And things were tough financially, things were tough personally, and the relationship that I was in was not a good one. So I was just, everywhere that I looked there was struggle, right? I was trying to pay my bills and my bank account was going overdrawn and my car was breaking down and I was having issues with people that I worked with at work, and then I would have issues when I went home with the people who I lived with at home. And I was frustrated because, you know, I was trying to make this dream a reality and things were not going my way. And so what really, really helped me was beginning the journey of personal development, getting clear on my vision, and figuring out where it was that I wanted to be. It wasn't enough to say that I wanted to be successful, I wanted to start making more money, I wanted to quit my job and just, you know, be free or whatever. I had to really conjure up a vision of my life, and more so the person that I wanted to become. Because we can have all these goals, we can have, we can say, I want to hit this particular income amount, I want to, have a great business, I want to travel, I want to have, a perfect or a great relationship, and I want to have this car and this house, and I want to live here. And while all that's great and all that can definitely be attained, what's more important and what's really going to help you mentally through those issues is deciding who you want to be. Deciding the person that you want to become and figuring out why is it that you want to become that person and why is it that you want that different life. When you're going through situations that are really, really tough and challenging, you need a really deep reason. Why is it that so many people give up on their dreams? Why is it so many people hit their first couple roadblocks and they're like, you know what, forget it. I'm gonna give up on this, no matter what it is. Maybe they're in a sport and they quit the sport. Maybe they are, in the corporate world and they're going after a degree and they're trying to be in a career or whatever it might be, and they hit a snag in that and they might give up. People give up in all walks of life, but why is it that people give up? I believe that people give up for a few different reasons. One of them being they're not clear enough on their vision. They don't know exactly why it is that they want that, and it's not a deep enough reason for them to keep pushing through. Like, you've got to have the reason beyond the money, you've got to have the reason beyond all the material stuff, you've got to have the reason beyond yourself, right? You'll hear a lot of people talk about, your why, it's got to be beyond yourself, and for me, it's the legacy that I wanted to leave for my family, not just my family, but I want to affect the world while I'm here. I wanted to be somebody who can put a message out there and have it affect, hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands, millions of people. And if you're playing small and if you have small goals and you have these visions that are just all about you, then when life hits and you might deal with a loss, you might deal with getting fired from your job that you're at, you might deal with a breakup in a relationship, you might deal with like a foreclosure or a bankruptcy or something in the financial realm. How are you going to get through that if you don't have a vision that's bigger than yourself? And it's really, really difficult to do that. So for me, it was getting really clear on my vision. What is it that I want to achieve? Why is it that I want to achieve it? And then what is life going to look like when I get there? Right? The whole thing is a journey, right? As many of you probably realize, like, success and achievement and all that is a continuous journey. You're just continuing to achieve, continuing to grow, continuing to attain success. But when you hit, a pinnacle of where you're going to be like, all right, I've achieved many of my goals, what is your life going to look like? So I encourage you to, if you haven't done this yet, or maybe you haven't done it in a while, is get a pen, get a paper, write down exactly what it is that you want to achieve, exactly what you want your life to look like. And picture down to the very smallest details that you can even think of. And then I want you to go beyond that. And why is it that you want to achieve those things? Why is it that you want to be that person? Why is it that you want to be able to write that book? Why is it that you want to be able to be on that stage and speak to those thousands of people? Why is it that you want to be free from your job besides, being at home or being free to travel or having, your own time freedom? How is it that you want to affect others and that you want to impact the world? And then here's something that's really cool too, right? So, there were so many times where like I felt frustrated and borderline depressed and just in situations where I'm like, it just seems like, like when is it going to happen? Like when am I going to start to see things change? Like you get to this point where it's like, I believe now that it's like life really testing you, like asking you like, can you be stopped? Will you be stopped by this? Like how bad do you want it? And so I remember thinking like, what would happen if I was to quit? And then I conjured up this other part of my vision, right? So you have the goals, you have the things you want to achieve, you have the person you want to become, you have the people that you want to help as a result of you achieving those things, becoming that person. But on the other side, you've got to know how the world will not be different by if you were to give up. If you're to let life's challenges get in your way right now and you give up, you stop growing, you stop investing in yourself, you stop learning, you stop doing personal development, you stop whatever it is that you're doing, right, to grow and to continue on, How is it that the world is not going to be affected? How many different lives will not be touched because you gave up on that thing that you're working at? How many people will not come to realize, that health and wellness that has been put on your heart, or that certain book that you really want to write about, personal relationships or love or dating or marriage or whatever it might be, that you felt inspiration inside of you to put out there into the world? Like, if you don't do that, what is going to happen? Like, who are the people that are not going to be affected? And for you to know, and I guess this is really like taking responsibility, taking your dreams and your goals and your vision, and having that, like, planting the seeds of obligation within yourself, that, you know what, I have to do this, because, like, even if I wanted to give up, like, there's so many things that would just not happen in the world. There's so many people that wouldn't be affected. There's so many people that would continue to live lives in pain and being unhealthy, or being in unhealthy relationships, or not figuring out their business because I didn't have the guts to just keep going and get through it. So, hey Renetta, how's it going? Hey Jennifer. So, if you're just jumping on, feel free to put in the comments where you're tuning in from, and thank you guys for tuning in. If you want to add to this conversation later on, once it's already recorded and up there, please do. But the conversation is, how do you stay motivated when you're going through life's hard times, life's bullshit, life's stuff that just pops up and, tries to get in your way, tries to stop you, tries to deter you, tries to depress you, tries to hold you down and weigh you down and keep you. And that's all that it really is if you can understand and gain the awareness that the things that happen in life are there for you, to teach you a lesson, to help you grow into a stronger person. Like, if I hadn't gone through a lot of the things that I went through, I wouldn't be able to help my clients in the ways that I'm able to help them. I wouldn't be able to help them through the experiences that they're going through, and help them through and say, like, yeah, I went through that. This is what I did. This is how I got through it. This is how I rose above it. We're there, and we have those situations so that we can help others. And if you can gain that awareness that's why life sucks sometimes, or life may appear to suck, right? Then it's going to bring more value to those situations. And the next part of it is, besides getting clear on your vision, besides getting really clear on what it is you want to achieve and why it is you want to achieve it, and the dent that you want to leave in the world and in the universe, is one way to get through those things is just to simply stop focusing so much on that stuff. Stop focusing so much on everything that's going wrong. I know, like, for an example, like, financially, it's so hard. It can be so hard, or seemingly challenging and difficult and almost impossible to, like, not pay attention to it. You're like, but I have this person calling me, and I have bills that are due, and I have late notices showing up in the mail, or turn off notices. Like, growing up, we would always get the red bills, right? The gas bill or the electric bill with the red thing on there, where you're like, oh shit, they're probably going to turn that off again, this month. Or we're going to go without heat, or we're going to go without this or that. When you have those kind of things bombarding you, it's really difficult and challenging to take your focus away from them and to put it on the things that are going right. But that's one of the keys. Like, you have to, it's all about discipline of your mind and discipline of your thinking and your thoughts. You can acknowledge what's going wrong, right, and be a responsible adult about it, but at the same time, your focus and your attention doesn't have to be there all day long, 24/7, 7 days a week, however many days a month, all year long. You know what I mean? You can even set aside. I was reading a book recently. I can't, or maybe it was like a talk or something, but this person was saying, if you're dealing with financial issues, and you're finding yourself, like, worrying all the time, like, you're worrying all day, like, you just find yourself just like, oh my gosh, like, totally reminded by it all day long, of maybe it's bills, maybe it's debt, maybe you're really deep in debt. What he said that he did was, he's like, you know what I did? I went from worrying all day to setting aside a worry time, and he set aside like 10 to 15 minutes of where he would say, all right, in this 10 to 15 minutes, I'm going to worry all that I want, and I'm going to focus on everything that I'm worried about, all the problems, everything that can go wrong. But then for the rest of the day, I'm not allowed to think about that stuff at all. He's like, I set up my life in a way where I wasn't reminded of my bank balance. I wasn't reminded of the bills that were due. I wasn't reminded about, the money that I did or didn't have. And I just went about my day focused on the right things, the things that you do have a lot of. For an example, you might live here in the United States of America. You might live in a house right now. You might be sitting in your house right now. You've got a roof over your head. You might have just ate dinner, right? So you just ate food. You just had food, where there's a large percentage of people, even here in the United States, that don't have food. They don't have water. They don't have a house. They don't have half of the things that you have and you and I very often take for granted. Right? So you got to start to look around and just say, okay, what is abundant in my life? What is going right? What are the things, if it's not a relationship problem that you're dealing with and you do have a great relationship, focus on that. Focus on how beautiful that is. Focus on how you get along so well. Focus on the great communication, making that better. If you have children and, they're young and they're healthy, be grateful for that. You know what I mean? I know all the time, one of the things that helped me the most with like getting frustrated or like discipline with children and not going crazy and pulling your hair out and going nuts and like needing to have alcohol all the time or like little vices or something, is just being grateful that my kids are alive and healthy, because there's parents somewhere that are sitting next to their kids who are in a hospital bed who are fighting for their life. There's kids that are waiting for organ transplants. There's people that are waiting for organ transplants. There's people that have a lot less than us when we're stressed out about whatever it is that we're stressed out about or whatever it is that we might be dealing with or facing. And life can actually be a lot worse than you think that it is right now. So if you want to do that, I encourage you to go ahead and do that. Set aside time where you can just review what you owe, review what you're worried about. Maybe it's not even finances, but it's just something else. Like you're just totally worried about it. Maybe it's your health or something, right? So like 10 minutes a day, worry about your health for those 10 minutes. For the rest of the time, focus on everything that's right. Focus on everything that is going right with your body. Focus on everything that you do love about your body. Focus on everything that is going right in your life and that you do have and that you are grateful for. And if you can just get into the habit of that, it doesn't happen overnight, but it's the cumulative thoughts and feelings and emotions that you start to have within yourself. When you start to recognize these things, that's actually going to change the neurochemistry within your body. It's going to start to change the neural pathways that are actually physically within your brain, which is going to in turn also change the frequency that we're on. We're all energetic beings. We're all casting out vibrations, and we're casting out certain forms of photography can see the energy that we are. We are energetic beings in an energetic universe. We're constantly sending out signals, like radios. We're sending out this signal, we're sending out that signal. Every thought that we have is sending out a signal. Every feeling and emotion that we have are sending out signals. So when we start to change those from negative and depressed and just focused on everything that's going wrong, when you're in that mindset, you're sending out those signals, and the universe is saying, okay, well, this is somebody who is really blowing up everything that's negative and really focus on everything that's negative. That must be what they want more of. So I'm just going to send back, if the universe was a personal being or thing, right? I'm going to send back more of that to them. That must be what they like. So when you change it and switch it around the other way, and you start to focus on everything that's going right in your life, and you start to just be grateful and feeling abundant, because you really are abundant and you do have so many things to be thankful for, and you have so much abundance in your life, no matter where you are or what you have, then you start to send out those signals, and then the universe responds to you saying, oh, that's what you value, that's what you love, that's what you want. Okay, I'll send you more of that. And then you're going to see the synchronicity start to happen, and you start to see the different things that start to line up and happen for you. The right people start to come into your life, the right resources start to show up, and things just start to kind of fall into place. And of course you have to take action, and of course you have to be active in this whole process. But the first thing and the most important thing that you can do is to just direct your attention and focus on directing your attention on the things that are going right instead of the things that are going wrong. And coming back full circle to the beginning of this discussion was, how do you stay motivated when things are going wrong, when you're dealing with stress, when you're dealing with a health issue, when you're dealing with relationship issues, when you're dealing with financial problems? And it is to get clear. So go out and get clear on what it is that you want to achieve, why it is that you want to achieve it. And if you were to give up, the mark that you would not make on the world, and how would that not affect the world? Get clear on those 3 points. And then secondly, start to think about, Okay, if I don't think about this so much, do you absolutely have to think about this? I have to let you guys go. My phone is going I think, about to die. Excuse me. Do you absolutely have to think about your bank account all day, every day? Do you absolutely have to think about your relationship problems all day, every day? Do you absolutely have to think about whatever it is that's worrying you right now all day, every day? The answer is no, right? It's a decision. We're just trained to focus on those things because we think for some reason, like, our analytical mind is an idiot sometimes, most of the time, a lot of the times, right? The ego mind. It's like, no, you have to worry about it because by you worrying about it, you can control it. And it's like, no, that's not how it works. The more you worry about it, the worse you make it. And guess what? The more things you just draw into your experience by having those types of thoughts and feelings and emotions. So, no, Biden needs a definite work to get to healthy. Hey, start taking the small steps now. You know what I mean? Like today I posted I don't know if you're in the moms group or whatever, but go and join that if you want to. I posted a 5-minute workout because right now I don't really feel like, in all transparency and honesty, I don't feel a whole lot of energy, at least in the past like couple of weeks, which is normal because, I'm like 17 weeks pregnant or whatever. But I'm like, I'm not going to do this pregnancy the same way that I've done the other pregnancies. I'm going to be active and I'm going to stay active. So if I can at least even do 5 minutes, I know how to engage my muscle groups enough to where I can, get a workout in for myself. So I posted a 5-minute workout. So it's like, if you can't make 5 minutes, if you can't just set 5 minutes aside, like I refuse, like I don't care what kind of a schedule you have. I don't care if you work 5 full-time jobs. You can take 5 minutes, even if they're spread out throughout the day. You know what I mean? Like a minute here, a minute there, a minute here, a minute there, a minute here. You can take 5 minutes and you can do some things that actually might seem in the moment or at first like they're not going to make a difference, but they actually will. So it's all about just starting those small things. And then once you start to feel better from those, and once you start to feel the difference and you start to feel more energy and you start to feel like, oh, I'm actually getting a result from this, then you'll start to build on that. So right when I was, hi Grace and welcome. If you're just joining us, let us know where you're from. Let's see, you're so right. When I was with my little boy in the oncology floor, when he fought cancer, I sought out other families to lift him up. That's amazing. And God bless you for going through that situation. That's one of the things, man, that makes me want to cry. Because so many parents are going through something like that. And I'm like, I'm not going to complain about my kids. You know what I mean? No matter how crazy they make me, no matter what they might be doing or what might be going on. Like I see parents sometimes and I'm like, how can you even be frustrated for 5 seconds and then let it go? Because the next day you never know what could happen. You know what I mean? Your child can be taken from you and it's, oh my God, I can't even imagine. Yay. I'm so glad to hear that. And I'm going to keep him in what is his name? If you want to put his name in the comments, I'll be glad to keep him in my thoughts and prayers. And some people might even say, like, well, you shouldn't compare your life to other people and think, oh, my life's good because someone else's isn't. Because you want to be growing, you want to be progressing, you want to be constantly getting better, of course, and achieving, right? A lot of really high achievers might say, not to do that. But in instances where you are just trying to implement more gratitude and more abundance and more of all of that, like it's a good practice, I feel, to compare or just to think, how this could be worse. Somebody's probably dealing with worse. And then to really, like you said, like you gave back to those people. And that's really so powerful as well. Like if you're dealing with some type of issues, whatever they might be, like go and find someone that you can give advice to, maybe not in that same area. Like if you're struggling in finances, you might not want to go and give somebody financial advice, but maybe you're good at something and someone else isn't, and that they're struggling in that area. Like go and help them, you know what I mean? And it's going to help you feel so much better, and it's going to help them, and this is just going to help the whole situation. Zen for sure. That's a cool name. Awesome. That's so cool to hear. And yeah, man, like I said, bless your heart for dealing with that. Man. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot more things I can go on. I could probably talk on this subject for like a whole hour or two more. My phone, obviously, unfortunately, won't let me do that. But if you're here on this and you've been watching it the whole time, don't just X out of this and go back to your life and do nothing. Like, you're probably dealing with something right now that you're frustrated with and that you're worried about and that you have been struggling through. So don't just shut off the video, like go, and even if you're not writing it down, like go jot it in your phone really quick. Like, how can I get clearer on what it is that I want to achieve and why it is that I want to achieve it? Who is it going to affect in the world when I do achieve it? What's that going to look like for me, for my family, for the people that I will affect? And then also on the other hand, if I don't achieve that, who is it going to affect? Who is it not going to affect? Who is it not going to make a difference for? What are the things that aren't going to happen in the world because I decided to play small and I decided to give up? And then focus your energy and your thoughts and your emotions on something else. Find your distraction. Use comedy. I know a lot of times I love watching like stand-up. I love watching funny shows. I love watching funny movies. Laughing, right? It energetically raises our vibration, makes us feel better. So if you can just find ways to distract yourself away from the issues that you're dealing with, they're there. Yes, they're not going to go away by you ignoring them, and you're not ignoring them. You are just managing your attention on them. You do not have to think about your issues all day, every day. You do not have to focus on your issues to make them go away. That's not going to make them go away, right? How do you practically make them go away, right? So if you're having financial issues, you need to seek help from somebody who has maybe what it is that you want in that area, maybe financially, maybe in business, maybe in relationships. Start to grow yourself in that area. If it's relationships, go grab a couple books, go ask some questions, go find some couples who have been together for a while, who seem to have, I know sometimes couples are together and they seem like they have a great relationship, but they don't. But find someone who does and truthfully does and ask them, hey, what was it that you recommend a book to me, show me a video, something, so that I can start to implement some new things in my life, because things only change when we change, and we only change when we start to do something different, right? Whether that's feeling different, thinking different, or acting different. So subscribe to Victory, outrise, and conspire with others to outrise. I love it. So, all right, well, battery's going dead. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Tonight was how do you stay motivated through life's hardest trials, life's hardest times, the difficulties that life is inevitably going to bring us all. How do you keep a strong mind and positivity through that? So if this encouraged you in any way or inspired you in any way, feel free to tag someone in the comments. Feel free to share the video. And also, please, if you've gone through something and you've got through that, drop in the comments, what was it that helped you? Maybe it was a book, maybe it was a video, maybe it was a person, maybe it was a certain technique or exercise, something like that. Feel free to share with us in the comments below. Thank you for tuning in. Grace, it was awesome to see you, meet you on here. Thank you. I don't know if we're friends or not. We'll have to connect with you after this, but I appreciate you for being on here and for sharing your story and sharing what your son has been going through. And so glad to hear that he's doing great. And I believe that he will be an inspiration, have his own story to tell. So, all right, everybody, good night, and I'll see you on the next video.